But first tonight, the Prime Minister, who finds a television show terrifying, yet refuses to confront the real and growing threat of adversaries like China and Russia on our doorstep. Today, these bombshell revelations that the Albanese government knew well before the campaign started about a Russian request to use Indonesian airfields for long-range military aircraft. Now, the Albanese government was made aware of the request after a February meeting between the Indonesian Defence Minister and senior officials from Moscow. This is in Dennis Shanahan's exclusive front-page report today. Now, this was no rumour, no speculation, certainly not propaganda, as Albanese claimed it was. This was hard intelligence, and it demanded a serious and thoughtful response from the Prime Minister to the Australian public. But instead, Labor tried to present this information as fake news, despite knowing about the official request.
And the coalition will try to raise a range of other issues. They raise issues about briefings. I'm waiting for them to ask for a briefing on who faked the moon landing. The truth is that the Indonesian president made no statement. The alternative Prime Minister of Australia verbaled the Indonesian president.
This is a complete smokescreen. To be frank, what the opposition are trying to do with this whole issue about whether or not there is a briefing is to find some kind of excuse for what Peter Dutton did last week.
Wouldn't it be an act of good faith to just give them a briefing on it?
Well, Andrew, the opposition is asking for a briefing on something that doesn't exist. I mean, they might as well ask for a briefing on the Loch Ness Monster. This is something that doesn't exist, that they fabricated.
Fabricated propaganda. Murray Watts, as you heard there, comparing it to the Loch Ness Monster. Well, while Labor was making jokes, Russia was making moves. Now, Peter Dutton is a former defence minister who understands the reality of what it would mean if Russia had long-range missiles just 1,300 kilometres from our mainland. Yet when he raised the alarm, the Prime Minister mocked him, attacked him, and claimed his remarks made him unfit to be Prime Minister. Well, no, Albanese. What makes a leader unfit is ignoring such threats. What makes a leader unfit is belittling national security to protect political skin. Now, the truth is clear for anyone to see. A stronger Russian military presence just north of Australia would pose a direct, immediate threat to our sovereignty, our security, and potentially to the safety of every Australian family. But Albanese chose to trivialise it. He deflected. He chose weakness over vigilance. This is a Prime Minister who is not across the detail. He's out of his depth on the international stage. And at a time when the world is becoming more dangerous, he just doesn't take this issue seriously enough. And so today, while threats gather at our doorstep, Albanese stood before the media promoting a television series, a TV series called Adolescence. Yep, that he said this was frightening.
I encourage anyone to have a look at it. It's scary. It's scary. These parents depicted not knowing what their young son, who they love, has engaged in. And there's a scene towards the end there where the father, who's brilliant, helped write the show, says, "We thought he was safe. He was in his bedroom. We thought he was safe." Well, it's had tragic impact for him, but a worse impact for his victim. And so this is something we need to have conversations about.
He's talking about fiction there, fiction. Now, I don't know how he had time to binge watch a fictional TV series during an election campaign. I certainly haven't, and he's the Prime Minister campaigning. But let's put that to one side for the moment. Now, compare his response when he was asked about a fictional TV show, to his response about the revelations that his government knew about the request from Russia to Indonesia back in February.
In March, were you told about the Russian request for airbase access in Indonesia?
Well, look, I don't go through... again, I refer to my previous answer. What adults do on intelligence is receive them and not conduct it through the media. What we know...
You also spoke about the importance of transparency.
What we know is, I'm sorry, but adults, when it comes to intelligence, act like adults.
So we can see clearly the Prime Minister appears more concerned about a fictional TV series than actual national security. A scripted fictional TV drama, not Russia, not China, a TV drama. And then last night, he couldn't even bring himself to say that, yes, China is the greatest threat to our national security.
Should we be worried about China, though? Does China pose the biggest risk to our national security?
Well, China is the major power in the region which is seeking to increase its influence.
Mr. Dutton named China. You didn't.
No, I said China is
the biggest threat to Australia's security.
The country that seeks influence in the region to extend its influence.
Biggest threat, yes.
And that is what we are dealing with.
Threat.
Well, I'm the Prime Minister of a country, and how you deal as Prime Minister is diplomatically.
I mean, it reminds you of Sam Dastyari, doesn't it? Yeah, that's his response as a Chinese warship conducted live fire exercises off the coast of the Tasman Sea for the first time since the Second World War, and as a Chinese spy ship circumnavigated our southern coastline. Yep, Albanese speaks with emotion about fictional tragedies while appearing alarmingly unconcerned about the real-world dangers unfolding right before our eyes. At a time when Australia needs a leader with clarity, conviction and courage, we have one obsessed with television programs and stage-managed sound bites. It's not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. Our adversaries are watching what he says, and what they see is weakness. They see a leader who won't even acknowledge a threat or call it a threat, let alone prepare for it by increasing defence spending. And history tells us one thing, it's that weakness invites aggression. Well, God help us all.